Okay, then the first question is, what do you view as ASUW's primary role at the University of Wyoming?
Would you like to go, Emily, or?
You got it, Kevin.
Okay. I see their primary goal is to expand the students' talents, abilities, and knowledge within different factors of education. I think their goal is to show what a community of people from all different backgrounds can do together, whether it's working together, creating relationships, friendships, anything. It's just the will and power to show that people can do extraordinary things if they're just true to themselves and want to do what they really want to do.
And I think another big part of that is like giving the students the tools they need to be successful and be the people they want to be. And constantly working on that and listening to the students' needs.
So,
I think so, yeah. Anything else?
did you mute yourself really quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I stopped your time, but I think there was just some like weird audio feedback. So if you want to just pick up, the last thing I think we heard was, what did we hear?
Oh gosh, we heard the tools part. You're saying tools, and then oh god, I don't know what we heard.
Yeah, you can just start from wherever you want to, and then yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully that won't happen again. But
Okay, so I think a big part of ASUW is that they give students the tools they need to be successful and be who they want to be to the best of their abilities. And ASUW is constantly changing their goals and initiatives to reflect that.
cool. Well, is there anything else either of you want to say on that first question?
No.
Okay. And then, are either of you Kinsey's iPhone?
No.
Okay, then that's really weird.
Mm.
Someone's trying to enter the meeting.
Interesting.
Don't let them. Question number 2. What are your tickets platforms, and what actions have you taken thus far to support those platforms?
You can go at this one.
Okay, so our platforms are transparent, representative, and unique. A big thing that we're trying to push with our administration is better communication between ASUW and the students. Obviously, the work that we do is meant to benefit the students, and a thing that I've noticed is a lack of participation from the student body as a whole. So we want to actively reach out to students regarding bills and resolutions and make sure we check in a lot with the students as much as we can to see what we can do better to better serve them. One of those things we want to do is start a newsletter bi-weekly that we can send out to interested students. We don't want to bombard students with more than they already have hitting their email inboxes every week as it is. But if they're interested, we want to give them a more in-depth look at what we're doing as an administration. We want to push the fact that we appreciate that everybody's unique and has different qualities and things that they bring, and everybody has their own story and different struggles they face, and we want to make sure we're doing our best to support students in any way we can.
And to add on to that too is the platforms, what they're intended to do too is it's all tie in together and basically resemble the characteristics of a UW student. You know, a lot of UW students are unique people, and the community really pushes for people to start with transparency, with communications, really pushing forward to understanding both sides of an issue in a situation and understanding each other and being open with each other and also being a representative. And when we say when our platform representative, it's not, governmental definition or anything else. It's basically resembling the representative status that each UW student has. Because every time when you walk into a room, you're either representing yourself, your values, or an organization or something. And we really want that to grow into something bigger. So yeah.
Awesome. Anything else on that question? Or are we good to go? Cool. The next question is, what would be your main priority to support student groups during your term? What is most lacking right now, and how would you address it? In other words, what will be the main initiative and project going forward of your campaign?
Well, I think the main initiative to helping with student groups is basically, it starts with anything, communication. It starts with understanding understanding their structure, understanding where they're standing, and then seeing what we can do to help them. They know what they want, they know what they need. And it starts with that communication to understand what we can do and the abilities and the tools that we have that is impactful for them at the end of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, just echoing what Kevin said about communication. I feel like the biggest aspect that's lacking between RSOs especially and ASUW is that line of communication. We don't really hear from RSOs during our meetings unless it's like funding board requests and the like. We hear from others rarely in special event presentations, but I think that getting them more involved in our everyday activities as senators, maybe having a platform where they can reach out to us and ask if they need help with volunteers for an event, like see if we can get senators and execs more involved in things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Ready to go on to the next one?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. The next question is, many students are unaware of what ASUW is or what it does with an average voter turnout of around 10 to 15%. What are some ways you will encourage increased civic engagement and student involvement?
You go first, Emily.
Okay. I think a big way to reach out to students right now is through our social medias, which haven't historically been very well received by the students, I guess is how I want to say that. It's hard to get the following that we need on social media to make it a truly effective way to communicate with students. And I think that's a big area to push more as far as communication goes between students and ASUW. Doing more student outreach events, like we just did the Student Outreach Week through the Student Outreach and Programming Committee, and that was a great way to get our name out and show students that we are here for them and we're here to do our best to help them be successful and enjoy their time at UW.
Mm-hmm. And to carry on with that too is, I think the best way to reach out to students is letting them know that they can run for office, but they also don't have to run for office to be active within ASUW. If they have something that they want to see different and they don't really have the time to volunteer to be a ASUW senator or part of the ASUW student government, they don't have to be a part of it to state what they want to see different. They can still work with us. The door can still always be open, and it doesn't have to be a physical, person-to-person meeting. It can also be email. It can be any way that they want to reach out to us, and we can, represent their voice if they really want us to. If they're, a little hesitant of going out there on their own to stand on an issue that they really believe in. So, yeah, I think that's another way that we can understand the common ground between the two.
Cool. The next question, and we've got two more, so second to last, is with some of the 2019 Senate seats either going unfilled or having no competition, how can you ensure that what the student body government does is an accurate representation of the student body's wants and needs?
That's a that's kind of a difficult question because we can look at that even in national politics. It's hard to say if someone is truly representing the people or if they're representing themselves or a certain group of people. And the only way that we can actually have true representation in a democratic republic is that if we get everyone to vote, everyone to stand up, everyone to not critique but also advise their senators. Don't just vote for them and let them do whatever they want. Keep track of them. Um, Hold them accountable to what they do, and I think that's how we can have accurate representation. As of right now, with those seats open and some senators running unopposed, is now is the time to hold them for their responsibility. And yeah, anything else, Emily?
I think definitely pushing more senator to constituent communication as far as different initiatives that ASUW is taking right now. Making sure that you keep the actual people that you're voting for in mind when you're voting, and be sure to get their opinions and their thoughts on matters before you vote while representing them.
Mhm.
Cool. Last question then is, and I'll give you a little time to just like ponder over this if you need, but can you name three specific actionable policies that you hope to pass during your time in office?
Emily, you want to take this first one?
Um, if you give me a second, sorry, I need to think. Yeah, if we could, I'll just take a sec. Talked about Kevin, you.
Well, I'll say something while you're thinking. As of right now, as of right now, it's hard to tell what the future has, and because of that, it's hard to make a promise when we don't know, especially right now, this current pandemic that we're in, where everybody doesn't know what's going to happen next week or hell, even tomorrow. And so it's, I just don't, I'm very hesitant of making a promise that I don't know can actually go through. But what I wish, what I hope that we can see go through in ASUW Senate and within the student government is allowing more availability um, to happen within diversity, picking a DOD, having that position very well structured, because that's a new position coming in to ASUW. And so with that new position coming in, we really have to have a really strong um, uh, stepping stone for that program to actually start kicking off and doing effective actions and doing what it wants to do. And also what I want to see go through is another thing that I want to see go through within ASUW student government is a little more on the counseling part, is not the quantity or the money going into counseling, but the quality of counseling itself. Arts and science doesn't really have a counseling department or anything, and every college have different forms of counseling. So if we could find a basis of what all counselors do at the same time or do in one college and the same in another college, that would be a good quality to have. And to actually sit down and talk to the students and actually plan out a path rather than having the students pick a class and then show it to the counselors and then they give them the perk number. So that's another thing I want to see get done. Emily?
I agree, definitely. Making sure that our student fee dollars are being spent well. I want to see. Oh, I had a thought and now it's gone. Um, I definitely want to see more push for advocacy within ASUW, and we talked about that in our little bit that's on the ballot. We want to push the DOD, Director of Diversity position, to be more focused on Director of Diversity and Advocacy, because giving people like minorities a platform to share their experiences and stuff isn't good enough. Like, we need to give them the resources they need to be successful as well, and we want to push that for sure.